Hello, everyone. My name is Angel Ledesma, and today we'll be discussing sleeping disorders, specifically insomnia. We did actually touch on this topic for our class lecture, but I was actually really intrigued with insomnia, so I found this project to be the perfect opportunity to do more research on it. Some learning objectives for this topic would be to explain insomnia and to also identify all possible symptoms and signs. We will be able to understand all neurotransmitters that are affected by this condition, and we will also be able to understand each treatment and medications that are used to help people with insomnia, and we will also discuss the benefits of each. To get started, I know most people already know the answer to this, but the main question here is what exactly are sleeping disorders? Sleeping disorders are way more common than you might actually think. On average, 34% of Americans have reported poor and or fair qualities of sleep, and over 50 million Americans have been diagnosed with chronic sleeping disorders. That is a big chunk of the population. There are several sleeping disorders that affect the sleeping patterns such as insomnia, sleep paralysis, narcolepsy, sleepwalking or eating, and night terrors. But for the sake of today, we will be focusing on insomnia. Insomnia. With insomnia, someone with this condition will find it harder to sleep at night. It isn't always constant. It does tend to be episodic, meaning that it does happen every now and then, not all the time. This person is um, this person with insomnia is usually pretty fatigued throughout the day, and they will have constant sleep disturbances on the night when they experience insomnia. In order to test this, if you have these symptoms, Perlis actually had a study where you can identify if you had insomnia. If you detect that you have been, if you have sleeping disturbances 3 or more times in the week, such as randomly waking up. Another way to tell is if it takes you more than 30 minutes to fall asleep. Now, when it comes to the brain, insomnia does actually affect your brain pretty immensely. There is a study using fMRI and PAT by Julia Aquino. She detected that the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the insula, and the ACC, which is the anterior cingulate cortex, were involved with insomnia. This actually makes perfect sense just because the thalamus is involved with the sleep-wake and control. However, with the ACC, that neurotransmitter is usually involved with emotional circuits, like emotional regulation. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that the ACC is also responsible for sleep. And with this study by Julia Aquino, she found that it decreased GABA rates with insomnia, which makes it harder for insomnia patients to regulate emotions or even maintain sleep. And after doing this research, I have found that emotions actually do play a big role in insomnia disorder, and we will actually um, talk about that right now. So, anyone can struggle from insomnia. There's not really a particular group that insomnia really affects. However, insomnia is more prominent with other medical conditions such as depression, anxiety, people who have ADHD, or even people who are autistic. Um, this can be a lot of reasons from overthinking, motivation to do other things, such as people with ADHD. The overthinking can be with depression and anxiety. However, when it comes to treatments and medication, there are actually a lot of options out there for people who struggle with this condition. Um, After doing my own personal research, I found that a lot of these medications are very similar to the medications you receive with depression and anxiety. Um, a lot of these medications are GABA agonists. As mentioned before, GABA rates are decreased with patients who have insomnia. Um, there's also antihistamines, SSRIs, which actually are very common with people who have depression or anxiety. And then we have benzodiazepines. Um, there's also a very common medication that's used for people who not only have not only have insomnia, but also have trouble sleeping at night, which are medications that contain melatonin. However, with these type of medications, it doesn't really cure or treat this condition. It only aids. So after a certain amount of time, you do build a tolerance over this medication, and the longer you take it, the more you won't really have that aid. But other than medication, there are also multiple treatments, and I found this treatment by Perlis to be very interesting. So it's called the stimulus control therapy. With this one, it is conditioning the patient to only associate sleep within the bedroom. So anything else that you do in the bedroom might be something that you might exclude in this therapy. But that was basically the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening. These are my citations that I used for my research, and thank you so much.